Hi roommaters, here we are again back with our dirt book, but I just wanted to show you one page that we didn't read yet, and it says, what lives in soil? Plants aren't the only things that live in soil. Just 1 square foot of good forest soil can be home to as many as 300,000 different living things. That is so many little tiny things that live in the soil. Critters such as insects, snakes, and moles live in the soil. Thousands of different microbes live there too. This is a close-up here of a microbe. Thousands of them. Microbes are living things that are too tiny to see without a microscope. So you might not even know they're there. For sure we don't know they're there. What we wanted to focus on today, is our wormies. We're not done with worms yet, so now I have a great book called Wonderful Worms. We're going to learn lots more about worms, these wonderful creatures. It said, earthworms are fat and wiggly, like my fingers and my toes. They live where it's cool and dark and damp, where roots spread out like underground trees. There's a robin. Remember our song, Robin in the Rain, such a saucy fellow, because that robin is going to go for that worm. Robins have a way of getting those worms to come up, and then they gobble them. Worms feel sounds with their whole bodies. They feel thunder when I walk. They are wonderful diggers. They dig passageways and burrows. But they don't use shovels or fingers or toes. Here's a froggy. How do they do it? Well, they eat their way through and move along. They eat their way through. They stretch out long and thin and squeeze in short and fat. Stretch and squeeze, eat and dig, move and dig. See the snake? Looks like a garter snake to me. Earthworms mix and turn the dirt as they dig and tunnel in the earth. Here's that mole. That's a real picture of a mole, not like the mole in the dirt book. It's like a cartoon mole. Oh, there's a salamander. They make the soil soft and airy so the roots of plants can breathe and grow. Worms don't have eyes or ears or a nose. They do have a mouth. And they need food just like I do. But they eat dirt and rotting leaves. Now we see these animals that are nocturnal. Mice. They swallow tiny pieces, and inside the worms, the food changes. When it comes out of their tail ends, it makes the earth rich, so plants can grow. I think Miss Adrian really loves to have worms up at Seven Circles Garden. Earthworms are my helpers, the underground gardeners. We work hard in the dirt in my garden, their home. Now, this book has facts about wonderful worms, and I went through and picked some that I thought were really interesting and you'd find interesting. This says, do earthworms bite people? No. Earthworms don't bite because they don't have teeth. Okay? Then I thought you might be interested in knowing which animals eat worms. Well, birds, lizards, centipedes, frogs, toads, turtles, skunks, snakes, gophers, and moles, all of those eat worms. In fact, moles catch earthworms and store them in their own burrows so they have them to eat when they get hungry. Isn't that cool? I didn't know that fact about moles, that they store up their worms. Now, this is a good question. What animal is the most dangerous to earthworms? Okay, it's not an animal, it's people. When people spray insecticides that are bug killers, poisons on the earth, that's the biggest danger to earthworms. That's because poisons can kill many acres of worms at one time. And there can be over a million earthworms in 1 acre of fertile land. So it's us. We're the biggest enemy of earthworms when we use poisons. Now, here's a question I want you to pay attention to. What is that fat lump in the worm's body? It's called a clitellum. All adult earthworms have one. Clitellum. The clitellum produces a ring-like band after a worm mates. The ring moves forward, collecting eggs, and slips over the worm's head. As it slides off, the ends seal and form a cocoon. Baby worms hatch from this cocoon. Isn't that interesting? And sometimes if we're lucky, maybe we'll even find those cocoons, though I think they're hard to see. But today today or tomorrow, use your magnifying glasses to see if you can see any of those. Now, I think there's just one more question it says that I thought would be interesting, and it's, how can you tell which end is the worm's head? Okay? Well, the head is slightly pointed, and that lump called the clitellum is closer to the head end of the adult earthworms. So when you're looking at your worms, find the clitellum, and the end closest to that, the pointy end, that will be the head. There's one other fact I'm remembering that I'm going to mention, and then we're done here. It says, if an earthworm breaks in two, does it really become 2 worms? No. But if it breaks off close to the head or close to the tail, it won't die. Instead, it'll grow another head or tail. But the little shorter piece won't grow into another whole worm. So that's good to know. Sometimes we accidentally may break a little piece off. I hope not. Now, let's take a look at my worms that I've collected here. I just collected them this morning, and I will let them go. But I was surprised at so many of them. Right now, you're going to see this worm right here. Looks pretty big. He's the biggest of all the worms I collected. Where are you, worm? Okay, all the rest of my worms were little worms, but look, there's the clitellum, and there's the pointy side, that's the head. So here is down here the tail, and we know if we accidentally that broke off, they grow a new tail. Now this worm seems good size, but I was surprised that when I've been digging worms that most of the worms I'm finding are baby worms, or at least I think they're babies. They're kind of smaller. This guy's looks to you on the camera, kind of maybe looks big, but in my eyes he looks small. I'm noticing a lot of my worms are clumping together. Notice different colors. Now I want you to find your magnifying glass today. Where's my magnifying glass? And then when you do your observing of your earthworms, it's not going to show on the camera. This is hard. But I want you to look close up and see what you can see. And make sure those magnifying glasses stay safe in your packets so when you need them again. Well, you're going to be doing your own earthworm project tomorrow. I'm going to ask you to get a jar, layer some soil. You'll get some instructions on how to do that. You don't want to just collect worms and put them in a bucket or something because they die. They need to stay moist and they need to stay in the ground. I'm in the shade right now, so these worms are okay, but I'm going to let them go as soon as we're done here because they need to be back in the soil. I don't want them to be uncomfortable or die. That would be terrible. But I have one more book a different kind of book I'm going to read to you today. And because you're hearing a lot, I'll show you some flowers here while I get the book. These are my calendula flowers, which we're going to talk about sometime when we're studying flowers and plants, which is not too far off. Okay, this book is called Germs. And you're hearing a lot about germs right now, and you're being told to wash your hands a lot, and everybody is doing that. And this is kind of a silly little book. It's all true. It's true about germs, but it makes the germs look kind of like funny. Not really scary. But so I thought you might enjoy this because you're hearing so much now about washing your hands. She says, wash your hands, scrub them clean. Tiny germs cannot be seen. They hide and they creep beneath the nails. They have eyes, feet, and tails. Beware, they're there. If you lick your fingers or chew your nails, the germs in your mouth will never fail. Down the tummy they will go. They'll have lots of fun below. Beware, they're there. Isn't this kind of silly? The germs don't really look like that, but this makes it kind of funny, doesn't it? Cover your mouth before you sneeze. Germs travel fast to spread disease. Now I know you're being told to cover your mouth or sneeze or cough into your elbow. Some people are saying to do that instead of your hands, right? Faster than cheetahs or speeding cars. Run away, go very far. Look, here's the guy. He's running away from the germs. Beware, they're there. Wash hands, scrub them, keep them clean. Germs are bad. Germs are mean. Are they really mean? No, but we can think of them that way. Yucky germs cannot be seen. Wash fingers in between. Beware, they're there. Wash your hands. Don't spread disease. Wash them off and use soap, please. Now, do you notice what's happening? Soap bubbles are taking away those little germs. Look how clean her hands are. That's what hand washing does. It's important that you do. Don't forget, dry them too. Germs are everywhere. That's why we're being really careful now with washing our hands and washing surfaces. And that's all I was going to read from that book now. Well, that's what I have for science today. I hope you've enjoyed this learning about worms. I'm very excited for you to do your own study of worms. So tomorrow you'll see there'll be a link for a worm observation jar. And if you have time to do that and you think that would be fun, I hope you will. You'll need to find a jar and dig some soil and dig some worms. Have your magnifying glass nearby and see how much you learn about worms. All right? It's been fun talking to you today with science. I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.